Hey y'all, welcome back to Mouse Money Minute, where we help you spend less stressfully and experience more magic. So far in our Disney style series, we've talked about the resort lounger who treats Disney like a tropical retreat, and the park warrior who considers 30,000 steps just a personal challenge. And today we're going to talk about the vacation style that probably describes the largest amount of the people going to Disney, and that's the balanced magic maker. This is the person that wants a little bit of everything. So you want your park days, you want resort time, character meals, a nice dinner, pool time, fireworks, and creating all of those memories. And they want to come home feeling like they had a vacation and not that they had survived vacation. The good news is that the style can be one of the most satisfying ways to experience Disney. The challenge is that wanting a little bit of everything can accidentally turn into paying for everything. So today we're going to talk about how to build a balanced Disney budget that gives you maximum magic without maximum credit card damage. So, a balanced magic maker isn't trying to ride every attraction. They're also not trying to spend all day at the pool. Instead, they're looking what I call the Disney sweet spot. Maybe they rope drop one morning, maybe they sleep in another day, they spend the afternoon at the pool before heading to Epcot for dinner, and they build in resort days. Maybe they take an afternoon break. They're trying to do Disney without feeling rushed. And this vacation style is especially common among kids, families with kids, couples, multi-generational trips, and first-time visitors. This is a really good way to go about it. And honestly, a lot of repeat visitors who realize they don't need to do everything in one trip will also kind of gravitate towards this balance. So trying to do all the upgrades because they seem appealing is a piece of this one where we have to watch our budget. So budget priority number one is we're going to pick our splurges ahead of time. So the biggest mistake balanced magic makers make is deciding to splurge in the moment. So you're walking around the Magic Kingdom and you see that they have special events, the dessert party, they have souvenirs, dining reservations galore, and suddenly you're saying, why not? We're on vacation. And the one splurge turns into five splurges. And instead of, having this budget that you had already set, you are starting to go off the credit card deep end. Instead, I recommend what I call a magic list. Before your trip, choose one or two things that are priority upgrades. That can be character meals, the dessert party, capture your moment sessions. And we have, if you go back to our Mouse Here's a Magical Chat page, we have a couple of different videos on those. And they also have signature dining, they have behind the scenes tours. So choose your favorite before you leave home, kind of do your research and see if it's something that you want to do before you get there. When everything's special, sometimes nothing can be special. So choose intentionally what you want, and these become trip highlights for you. Budget priority two, don't overschedule. And this might sound strange from someone that loves budgeting and that loves to use my scheduling book, but overscheduling can actually be expensive. Why? Because if you're filling your day with all sorts of things, exhaustion leads, or you could get exhausted, and then that's going to lead to impulse spending. So you're tired, the kids are tired, no one wants to walk. So suddenly you're buying more expensive transportation, like maybe you are getting those minivans. You're thinking about that you're really hungry, you're getting the expensive snacks instead of knowing what you had wanted ahead of time. You might be getting additional dining reservations. So a balanced magic maker should embrace downtime. One of my favorite Disney memories isn't a ride. It is sitting on my balcony back at the resort, having coffee and seeing the giraffes. I love taking the ferry from Port Orleans and seeing all the resorts as we float by. And again, speaking of Port Orleans, they have a great jazz place at night. Those are some of my favorite memories, and they didn't cost me extra past what I had already purchased. So these moments can cost very little, but they really are some of the most memorable. And remember, a Disney vacation doesn't have to be nonstop to be magical. So let's talk about budget priority three, which is choose the right resort. This vacation style benefits more from a resort quality than the park warrior, because remember, the park warrior was in the parks from rope drop to close, and they just need a bed for the most part. You're looking for something a little bit more balanced, so you want some resort time. You might want to sleep in some days, do things at the resort. So this resort piece is important because you're actually going to use it. That doesn't automatically mean that you need a deluxe, but it does mean thinking about how you're spending your non-park time. Will you use the pool? Will you enjoy resort dining? Because remember, the values have cafeterias, but they don't have actual restaurants there. Will transportation convenience matter? Because some have access to the Skyliner or ferries, and some just have buses. Will you take midday breaks? Where I think about when I take a midday break, I love coming back on the Skyliner because it's so quick. Or if you are one of the Epcot places, you can just walk across and be at your hotel. Really great convenience. But if the answer is yes, it may be worth spending a little bit more on your resort. So for many balance magic makers, moderate resorts hit the sweet spot. You get beautiful theming, better amenities, and more relaxing atmosphere without deluxe level prices. So, thought for you guys. The goal is finding the resort that supports your vacation style, not just choosing the cheapest option. So, budget priority 4 is building in a rest day. If you're staying 5 days or longer, consider scheduling a full non-park day. I know some of you park warriors are already clutching your Mickey ears, but hear me out. A rest day can actually save you money. You aren't buying park tickets. You aren't buying lightning lanes. You aren't spending all day purchasing snacks and drinks. Instead, you can enjoy the pool or some mini golf. You can go over to Disney Springs. There's also resort activities that you can do, and you can have a relaxing meal right at the resort. And often the rest day helps you enjoy the remaining days even more because you're more relaxed. You're not as exhausted. So a balanced vacation often feels longer if you're not constantly exhausted, you know? So my favorite balance magic maker splurges would be picking a special dining experience. Maybe you want to go eat at Cinderella's castle and a memorable activity. And again, I loved going to the dessert party recently. I thought that was worth a splurge for me. Think about your transportation convenience and where you want to stay. These are the types of purchases that can really create lasting memories for you and not dramatically increase the overall trip costs. The goal isn't to maximize rides, but it's to maximize your joy and the magic that you're having. So if you are a balanced magic maker, here's your Mouse Money Minute takeaway. Don't try to do everything. Choose what matters most to you. Budget for those experiences that you're going to remember and build in downtime. And remember that some of the best Disney moments happen when you're not rushing to the next attraction. And remember, like a lot of the lightning lanes and stuff are like on your phone. So if you're rushing, you're always on your phone. So that downtime really means something if you want this balanced feeling. So next week, we'll wrap up our Disney Vacation Style series with the Experience Collector, the traveler who is always chasing the newest, rarest, and most unique Disney experiences. But until then, remember, the most magical Disney vacation isn't the one where you're spending the most money. It's the one that matches the way you love to vacation. We'll see you next time on the Mouse Money Minute.